have a father in our midst who has blessed us so many times with the word of God. A very spiritual father. So he'll be coming to give us the second various topics to elaborate, to teach us. So I believe that by the end of this summit, we as a church members, we will be able to have social media pages or have a media ministry in our church. So without wasting my time, I will want to call on our father, Pastor Joshua Yorson, to give us the second presentation. Please, let's give it up for him.
Thank you so much. God richly bless you for the space. I believe you can all hear me. Great. I'm so much grateful to God, and I'm thankful to the media team as well as the organizers of this very program. I say God richly bless you all for putting up such a wonderful enterprise. It is my prayer that this grows to become a waterfall that will feed thousands as far as the digital evolution is concerned. Speaking briefly on the topic, transforming the local church through excellent media, or am I getting it right? Can I have my slides projected, please? The digital space is fast evolving, and the digital space is gradually becoming an interesting one. And for me, my take to young chaps is get involved to Christo, if there is any word like that. Crystallize the environment. Carry your Christ-likeness into that space, and you will never regret it. Praise the Lord. In the last 20 to 50 years, the digital space has evolved so much, and because technology in itself is self-steering, trust me, technology in one way or the other is determining the pace of how things ought to be done. You will agree with me that the order of the day, the status quo in traditional way of doing things have changed so much. Please, if the recording team can pause so that I can advise them. Achievement. 3 times national overall best customer care agent, out by Invest in People. What else? Administrating professional, MTN Academy. Professional skills, data analytics, Six Sigma expert, customer service expert, creative thinking, Microsoft certified administrator, and maybe lastly, public speaking or presentation skills. Let's take the next slide, please. Few certifications and awards, just to display 15 of them. Let's take the next row, presentation. Great. So, just to roll out what I just shared, is to give you a firm foundation and a conviction that what I'm about to share is something I have lived personally, and it is what I trust, when embraced, will carry us to places. Introduction. I want to begin by giving the theological basis for digital transformation using media. The church in its earthly state will remain a social and a spiritual entity until the rapture comes. And talking about a social entity, what I'm trying to establish is the church will continue to evolve around standard organizational structures and principles in order to fulfill its mandate. Talking about the need for leadership structure, labor force, logistics, and other variables that will make a standard organization grow. That is what I mean by the church being a social entity. Talking about a spiritual entity, I'm trying to say that the mission of the church will continue to depend on God's kingdom values and principles in order to make success as far as it is a spiritual establishment. Having said this, the expansion of the 21st century church necessitates significant investment in digital transformation and technology to achieve a competitive advantage as seen in the ministry of King Uzziah. Scripture reference, 2 Chronicles 26, 14 and 15. I read, Uzziah had them well armed, talking about the armies of Israel in the days of King Uzziah, reading from the Message Bible. Uzziah had them well armed with shields, spears, helmets, armor, bows, and slingshots. He also installed the latest in military technology on the towers and corners of Jerusalem for shooting arrows and hurling stones. He became well known for all this. How was he known? A famous king. Everyone sought to have whatever that he desired. The simple question is, what gave King Uzziah the advantage in war in those days? By coping and employing the latest in technology. Let's take the next slide. This underlines the fact that provision of technology in our days is for our advantage. I want to encourage media people here present and those joining online. We have a competitive advantage as a church when we buy into digital transformation. I want to establish that since the inception of the church on the day of Pentecost, the church has been an ardent user of technology, and this sets the pace for us to boldly use it in the advancement of technology. In these days where we have abundance of technology, we cannot isolate ourselves as a church from the use of technology. The average church today uses phone calls, text messages, traditionally known as SMS, WhatsApp groups, to manage connectivity with members. Others employ projectors and other resources in sermon delivery. Talking about sounds, we have to rely on microphones and advanced amplifiers and mixers and all that. All this indicates that within the current church, technology is being used, but it is being used at a very low rate. The purpose of this presentation is to provide motivation for us to go all out to embrace what is the latest in order to fulfill the mission of the church. It is about time, ladies and gentlemen, we make a full swing to embrace the full benefits of technology in the delivery of church as far as the 21st century is concerned. Instead of having silos of technology like SMSs, WhatsApp groups, and all that, why don't we think of having a unified system like a church CRM, a church ERP, and more better logistics? Spending on SMS, spending on postings on social media, and doing it unprofessionally is a dishonor to the grace given to the church. It is about time we go all out. I believe COVID-19 has already made an undeniable statement on mega churches who even despise or fail to embrace technological revolution. No establishment in this era is immune to the digital disruption that is about to be caused by technological evolution. Let me give you a few scenarios to highlight my point. Consider how Nokia lost grounds to Samsung by failing to embrace digital revolution. A multi-million and international company crashed down out of the scene by failing to adopt to digital evolution. Samsung, known for its home appliances manufacturing, took over the mobile telecommunication industry by wiping away Nokia just for adopting digital. Let me talk about local establishments and entities that have faded away because of their failure to embrace technology. Transport system used to be walking from your home to a converging point called lorry station. Today we have Uber services killing the appetite for taxi services in Ghana. It is only in small villages like where we find ourselves in these days where taxi service seems lucrative. In more advanced and urban cities, technology is determining the pace. Let's talk about how the cinema industry has crashed down, giving space to modern technological infrastructure like Netflix. Back in the days, we used to walk to cinema centers to enjoy movies. One day, a gentleman woke up, he said, let's transport cinema to every home. Let's change every home into a cinema house. And a simple application called Netflix was introduced. And today, without walking 10 steps from your house, you can have the latest movie premiered in your room. The power of digital transformation. Let's talk about how education has evolved using technology. The story goes on and on and on. I'm saying this to tell the whole house that failing to adopt to the digital evolution, we are not too far away from being crashed down. And this includes mega churches. On that note, what I want to say is, the sure way for us in the future as a church is by boldly accepting and embracing digital transformation. Let's look at the next slide. Transforming or transformation of local churches, how to and what it entails. Briefly, I want to say that transformation refers to the process of change. Therefore, transforming the local church using media excellence is simple to say, using media technology to revolutionize how church services are being delivered in the 21st century. For the purpose of time and in this presentation, I want to present two basic approaches in order to migrate from the traditional way of doing church service to the digital space. The first I have on notes is benchmarking, and the second is creating a digital sanctuary. Talking about benchmarking, I propose churches copying from leaders who have made strides in this space. So a church A who wishes to migrate into digital evolution chooses church B who is doing very well in that and decides to literally copy what they are doing step by step, where what church A does becomes a motivation for what church B does, is what I describe as benchmarking. So one way a local church can undergo a digital transformation using media excellence is by learning from para churches who are doing very excellent in that space. That concept is what I term as benchmarking. The second on the list is establishing a digital sanctuary. The word create connotes the sense that starting from fresh. Here we need what we call the social media strategy. We need a vision casting. We need logistics, and we require a team of professionals in order to suggest the right resources, and we procure them. Today's century people, by the grace of God, have changed so much, and whether we like it or not, they are determining how church services and meetings ought to be delivered. Whether we like it or not, at this point, churches are not mere establishments of 5,000 capacities, having 20,000 members, running 5 shifts in a day, and it ends there. Church has changed. Church has changed. Having this is not enough as far as the task to reach the entire world for discipleship is concerned. We have a lot of people in the media world, and we need to make efforts to reach them. Let's take the next slide. Talking about benchmarking and creating a media sanctuary, what are the areas one could focus on? I offer 8 steps. Number 1, if we want to make evolution or transformation into the digital space, we cannot go without this, no matter the approach we choose. First on the list, we create a sense of urgency. Thanks to Cinelive Studio for creating this awareness. This can be improved and revised with time. It is my prayer that as we sound the crowd call for this evolution, our next meeting will affect more than what we see today. The church needs to create that sense of urgency. Any church that wishes to make transformation in digital technology ought to sound the clarion call. Number two, we need to establish a governing alliance. Because technology is self-steering, before one takes the decision to go into the digital space, there is a need to have a policy, what we define our media to be, what we frown on, what we encourage. These policies are very essential. This talks about employment of cybersecurity and the kind of resources that is needed in order to push the vision of the local church. It is therefore paramount that before one steps into the digital space, he establish a governing alliance. Number three, we need to create a vision and a plan for action. Whatever that is planned gets done. It is in this vision casting and plan activity that informs what to be done at what point in time. This is where we wisely allocate responsibilities based on resources available. It is based on this vision casting that we are able to utilize resources effectively. Again, we need to share the vision. The Great Commission is too big for one church denomination to take upon itself. So when it is done in Church A and Church B wishes to copy, the solution needs to be made available. Making it available doesn't mean you are raising competition. Praise the Lord. The essence of reaching the world and the globalization of the world and the unity of the body of Christ should provide us the understanding to share resources. Let it be easy for us to share knowledge. Let it be easy for us to share our know-how. Next, we need to motivate others to carry out the planned actions. After documenting your vision and setting your action goals, when people are not motivated to carry out, it becomes a mere wish. People of God, having come this far, it is very important that whatever we aim at achieving, we motivate others to carry it out. We are what we call the digital consumers, and these are the right people we need to carry this dream out. We need to also create quick successes. Any dream that lingers for long to attain success becomes demotivating over time. Imagine a pregnant woman who boasts of conception and walks about 10 years without delivering. What is the pride in the pregnancy? Pregnancies are expected to be delivered in 9 months. That means every dream requires a good time to manifest its glory. We need to have strategies that will announce our successes with time. When it lingers for long, people get discouraged in the dream. Meaning that the whole vision needs to be fragmented in blocks with timelines so that at the end of each season, we can evaluate and talk about what has been achieved and what is ahead of us and what has not been achieved. Last but one, we need to build on successes and bring about greater changes. It is important we evaluate and make modification. There is no limit to which a church can go in the digital space. The only limit is set by our unwillingness to advance and make modification. I wish if Paul was alive, I know we'll still be pressing on in God. That is why he was able to say, I always forget the past and press on. There are heights in God we can go with technology, and so we need not to set limits. And to do us the honors, we need to build on our successes and make modifications for the days ahead. Let's make strategies as part of our culture. I believe several kings ruled Israel before the days of Uzziah. But Uzziah became popular and he was known to be uncontested in battle because of his employment of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, strategies are given by God. Ideas are given by God. Let's make strategies part of our culture by way of bringing freshness in our ministry. Jesus shared a parable. He says, a good servant of the kingdom is one who is able to bring out both good, old, and new treasures from his coffers. Our ability to navigate divine wisdom from the Old Testament, blend it with what the New Testament holds, and bundle it with what technology is stirring or presenting to us is what makes us better stewards of the 21st century church. A pastor and a minister of the 21st century who is unable to blend the Old Testament with the New Testament and technological knowledge of today is inefficient and anemic of divine prose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no option than to go all out to take the digital space. Let's look at the next slide. Areas of focus. And I will humbly ask the media team to clear from digital theology to the last point, online church service, so that we can have the points displayed. From digital theology to end theology, so that we can have from online space. Talking about transformation into the digital space, I want to present some areas of focus. First on the list is online church service. Online church service. Migrating into the digital space is very broad and needs vision focus. One way to transform the local church is by considering online church service. Talking about online church service, I'm saying that we should find a means of migrating what we do traditionally within the confines of our church building into the digital space for the consumption of our digital boomers. Because the media space is holding a lot of youth, it is important we accept these changes to also benefit those in that bracket. Second, we want to consider online-only churches. This is the absence of physical confinement, where the entire ministry is established virtually in order to connect people in the diaspora. Third, we want to consider online Christian community. So a church can do well by embracing online Christian community as a discipleship program by way of mentoring and discipling young people. A good example of this is Alpha Hour. Alpha Hour has become a virtual community that connects people with the motivation to pray. We have the TD Jakes Media Village, where people in developing countries are given a taste of what mentorship seems to be in advanced countries and churches. Virtual, augmented, and extended reality church services. This has to do with the use of holographs in presentation. Today we know churches that stream live nationwide, and even church services for every Sunday has to be a recorded and broadcasted version. We live in the days where we can employ augmented reality to give an enhanced experience in these broadcast services. Bible apps and Bible in a year apps and plugins. A church can decide establishing or building Bible apps for spreading the gospel, as we have already heard in the first presentation. And the last I want to touch on online Christian dating. Why online Christian dating? Whether we like it or not, we cannot stop it. We have a lot of youth embarking on dating in the open digital world, and it is creating more problems than offering solutions. It is about time we create Christian communities to give our youngsters and singles a safe environment for dating and connectivity. So a church aiming or thinking of going into the digital space can consider any of these branches or aspects of media transformation. Let's look at the next slide. Let's advance. We've already touched on this. I want us to watch less than 5 minutes video. Jot down what you heard, what caught your attention, and what you consider a takeaway. Let's watch the setting. It is a simple talk on digital transformation and the future of digital transformation. If media is ready, please, you can hit play. challenge the process. Challenge the process. Don't come in to think, hey, Makiomba and scientist was say, challenge the process. Secondly, let's inspire a shared vision. Let's share knowledge. Let's impact knowledge. Let's encourage others to join us in the media space. Let us enable others to act. When I say let us enable, let's empower them. Our young people are full of potentials. As Jack Ma said, the problems of tomorrow, we don't have the solution, but our young people have. It will amaze you with all my intellectual prose. Me betna dia beni yehua. Me to me nyen senia oyena. Me dia beye Matthew in sempa. But at least with the support, we have what we have. Let us enable people to act. Let us model the way. Christopher, let us not reserve inventions for the wealthy people to determine the pace for us. Let's get into the digital space. What a young boy. What if you as a take a course in the digital space, get into data analytics, get into data science, get into the digital space and catch some knowledge for yourself. The biggest free university in the world today is YouTube. All you need is the same data you waste on WhatsApp and Facebook, watching people shaking their buttocks and all those nonsense. It is about time we reorient ourselves. Let's get into the digital space. We have more opportunities over there, and the future of our economy, the future of the globe, the future of the world stays with the digital. Let us model the way. It should be time where we bring the new phones, the new laptops, the new computers, the new digital cameras. Let us model the way. How would the world be when we have a lot of you pioneering inventions and technology? And the BBI should be a majority is run and owned by wealthy people. I pray the Lord will grant you wisdom. Receive fresh ideas to model the way for the coming generation. And finally, let's work with the heart. Machines will forever be machines. Humans will forever be humans. The difference between machines and humans in the future will be the operations of the heart. You are a human being, you have emotions. Let us be sensitive to one another and let's relate as humans to one another. Let us not act like machines. We are humans. Let's close. The next slide. I provided these statistics to motivate us to go into the digital space. World population as at February this year, we are numbering in 8 billion. Urbanization is taking 58.1%. People using mobile devices represent 70.5%. And we have 5.78 billion subscribing to mobile devices. We have 5.56 billion migrating to the internet, representing 67.9% of our current population. People who are connected by social media out of the 8.2 billion population is 5.24 billion, representing 63.9%. What is this statistics telling us? Day in and day out, the digital space continues to be a sure space for growth and for business successes. The stats continue and goes on and on. I'm not talking about them because my time is up. It just ran through for them to look at how fast the world is changing. This has to do with the use of internet over the years. And you can see that year by year, it is increasing and it is not declining. So if you are here and you are blessed with a solution in the digital space, you go chop money, because customers will come more and more and more. And juma and the epeja or chinana quarter form. It is consistently on the rise and it will never decline. Until the sure space to develop yourself is on the internet. Let's go to the next slide. The stats continues. Growth rate. Population is growing by 0.9%. Meanwhile, migration into the use of digital devices is increasing by 2.5%. And then adaptation of internet is growing by 1.8%. And social connectedness is increasing by 5.6%. Look at the rate of population growth and look at the way internet is changing the world. These figures are nowhere near 0. It's even less than 1%. And all your world is TikTok. Now Shasa. You are making a joke of your life. Quarterly, these are the trend outcomes measured in billions. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. And as at between October last year to January this year, look at the growth rate. Think about it. There is no minus anywhere. There is no minus. These are internet adaptation based on the various continents we have in the world. And look at Africa. I wish I had time to explain this chart to you very well. Masa otia now per se, Obobra or digital space now. There are areas you need to spot and move into. God bless all of us for your kind attention.